I'm extending Tashitile greetings to everyone. So I request all of you with the thought of establishing all sentient beings to the state of the Buddha. We are doing this practice of the preliminary Dharma. Sorry.
Guru Bema Bao Kandu Zodan Jep Tamje Go Gardab Song Dage Ngaje Loy Tuje Gomba Rekbaran Sharje Ngo Tala Tede Tadilje Tadan Chet Silchemben Dunje Namgaran Jembara Njur Jelama Gandu Namje Medalando Jeze Dada Gam Zomzem Jena Som Loma Denje Ngando Nam Tezenendro Bena Waranja Mandro Joro Bezem Jena Purare Do Benal Jorenge Chenka Jene Zoden Benjir Palama Je Jone Lunga Ye Da Nyo Me Ne Mar Dende Zango Bede La Ba Le Jawa De Jira La Ju Nere Dru Nyam Ge Shen De Ro Tara Shen De Nye Ro Ba Ye Kela Ma Ga De Zo Nam Ye Me Da Ge Go Zom Jen Ye Lo Me Da Ge Go Zom Jen Ye Lo Me Da Ge Go Zom Jen Ye Lo And then the Long Ko Chok Nyam Do Sa Ro Nang
So from here, please do the ninefold, the exhaling, the still breath.
라서 되는 데절라 소소 치조도 나마 좀 모르는 뭐지 임발라 뭐 소소 싸울라마 임바제 근데 라 무슨 대바다 뭐 저지비 돈네 는 솔데 제보고 요래 는 솔데 된 조네 단당 원주 유천 냠는 지기 원주 제던데 줄여고 제바나 아니 뉴진주로 상제바다 삼전 담전 상제 유고방 고도버지 영화 진지 람도 솔로스는데 는 솔데 제바다 는 솔데 제사ben 제라 는 람마이 당구름 뭐지 아니 나와 진송삼 아니 나마 예외이 남발을 쉬네 아니 랑니 라틴 소소 룡아 예좀나 남면 고송 도좀 예르메도 요송 도삼에 말에 오늘 되네제네 교삼로 당네 단단한 거 솔드는 냠도 서로 나슈기
So now please visualize the Guru Rinpoche upon your crown and then do the supplications. And we visualize Guru Rinpoche with, full devotions, very, very kind of pure and intense devotions. And the purpose of doing this, we have to, think to ourselves that we are doing this practice, visualizations of the Guru Rinpoche as part of the Ngöndro practice in order to, gain the Buddha state, the Buddhahood, for ourselves as well as for all other sentient beings. And then at the same time, the Guru Rinpoche on our crown is identical to our own root guru. And then this root guru and Guru Rinpoche is, blessings. The blessing is coming from them in the form of light, radiating light. And then that light dissolves into our own body, speech, mind. And then we are fully blessed. And with that kind of the visualization, please do the supplication below with me.
balden zawe lama rembo tagin joran bemen den la kadin jemben gonen jesu kozon doje ngordom zaldo zu Dezoma sanje dan jeje ngowo lama rimbo chen dagi ju minjen jolwara jinje labdos samlam je doba jebara jen jula jewara jinje labdos sedenye la ozal zoba jembe lamjo darje Chinje labdo zo dezom sanje dam jeje ngo lama rembo jeje dagi gyu menje jolwara jinje labdo sablam je doba jebara jen gyula jewara jinje labdo sedenye la ozal zoba jem Lamjo darje bara jenje labdo zo Dezum sanje dam jeje ngowo lama rimbo jeje Dagi ju minje jolwara jenje labdo zo Sablam je doba je bara jen gyula je wara jenje labdo Kenze denye la ozal zoba jembe lamjo darje Chenje labdo zo Zolwa de zo lama re mo chen duwe bud Chen 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 je je Kalmen da la re za nye le me Duye ye men je baran chen je lo Jema dagi jujen ganden jan dal juro dene shendu ye baranga no lazo ani ngazo ta nyamning ge ngoi shi la ndo ya re ta nyamning ngoi shi de le re me do mong bu yu bi na na ta ngazo ngondro yi namba che ta ngondro de la ani tumong ge ngondro tumong mai bi ngondro de ne yu bi na ne ta ngazo tumong ge ngondro da lodo namba shi den zo ro shi me ka bi ba re.
So we are right now at the point of the practice, the man body practice. And generally for man practice, there are many different sections or parts in the kind. And for this practice, we are doing the preliminary dharmas. And again, for preliminary practice, there are the common preliminary practice and the uncommon practice, preliminary practice. And right now, we are at the practice of the common preliminary practice of the four mind, the mind changing, four thought that turning the mind towards Dharma.
Ni da lodo namba shille ni tangbo ngazo daljur ji milurin boche de ni pemese kechomba yimba dang di luden de la ni sanji gobang tobe je ni karasa wore gogab sangsho yimba di ni samlo dang dang ni tong shimba yimba re.
So at this point, we are meditating on the fact that the precious human body is very difficult to obtain, but we have obtained it, and with this, we are aiming to gain the state of the Buddhahood. So we are at the point of meditating on this fact.
Ani dile ta ngo talwi ye rangshin de shudrup ani kyabar ji njorwe rangshin le ni rangjor nga da shenjor nga yubi na ne rangjor nga yongzo shu chubare ta shenjor nga de palcher shu chumne nga ba de nga zo kome la de ba yindu ani de ne song de ani yang rembe rembe che ne komgi.
For this, we have already spoken about the freedoms as well as most of the riches or advantages. We have already spoken about the five self riches, and as well as the most of the riches comes from others, the other riches. Now we are at the last riches of the others, the other rich, the last one.
Ni ta shenjor nga na ne ni nga ba de yengi che sun juba sung yore ani ta sanje ye tenba yang yu tenba ne dene la so ba jungwa yin na yang ani rani ji tenbe lu ko la shu ba dene jungwa yin na yang ani chue ji tam nga yang da ba den gen ji ke wi shin ni san ni da tenba ji ma nye ba yin na ani chue che ba le yang te sam ji pen do me ba re ani je dang te ba da ya dang an tar bi lam na san ya dang wa dene la so ba pen do mang bo ji yue re de ani chue ji ne ngama de ko tu ma re nyam ne ne ngama de le tu me ba re ti ndu yen ke wi shin yin san ni na de ma ji ngai bor don jal go re la jal lo sam gyan pen do yo ma re di gun ne ta ma de shu go gu re ta den re ma jung na ani ta yang chue me ko ma ra cha ba re ani den re phun so ba de da nang so so lo do mi do ta ani so so lo ke wi shin yin san ni na de ma yang da ba ji nye ba ma ra ba yo na ani so so lo ka wa dan che zu ye ran ba che zu ye ran wa kom ani di tu so de Chola Madang ne Yang the Bojo Sonko do Sambajo Yure or Dende Yetela and Chosen Samlodaro Na Shumi.
Okay, now the fifth is following the spiritual friend. So this following the spiritual friend is very important. This is because without spiritual friend, then we are unable to obtain the most important essence of the Buddha Dharmas. Even though the teaching was taught and it remained, and you are able to gain quite a degree of understanding of the Buddha Dharma, but without our spiritual teachers or the spiritual friend, then we are unable to gain the essence of the teachings. Therefore, we have to find first as spiritual teachers. And not only that, then we have to gain or receive his instructions. So with that instruction, then we are able to utilize this precious human body for good purpose. And right now, with that, contemplate on the fact that if we have these, the advantages. So if you have it, if you think you have it, then you can rejoice. Please rejoice with that. The fact that we are having these advantages of having a great spiritual teachers. So now take a moment and contemplate on this fact.
So, in day Kang La, Taljung Genji Mugum Banje, second G, Young Yure. Tadiang, and a Samlodang to Baina, and a Shada Yabu Yure. And Chedan Talwa Chedan Joraju, someone's on Million Baja Chagi Yure La. Read it up, Messa Pui Takbo Chedan, Messa Sama Yabuji Young Yuna. And Taljung Genji Mugum Banje, second da, Rachel Louis Mugum Banje, second Yamani Levongdua, Tenzo Yang, Yabu Jisangu Yure. Ali Denzo Teddy Rangula Sangudu, Sangbudu, and the Taji Yang, Yang no Dang, Sangi Mena, and Sangdab Che, Sanga Yuna, the Mudin, Jun Yang Dab Che, Ne Yado Mando, Da Yado Mando, Dam Young City Yure, or the Neha Guechedu, and Yang Denzo Langazo, on a chosen Samnodangi.
Okay, now is contemplating about the 8 unfree states. This 8 unfree states is also very important. Generally, having obtained the 8 freedoms and 10 riches, as qualified to be a precious human body, obtaining the precious human body. But however, upon that, the 8 unfree states is extremely important. And so right now, please check for yourself if you have this, unfree states, the 8 unfree states. If you think you haven't, then we have to think different means to how to gain those 8 unfree states. But if you think you have already obtained these 8 unfree states, then we have to contemplate about how to maintain it. It's many times things might change from time to time. Even we have gained something precious, we might lose it later. So now, if you think you have obtained these 8 unfree states, we have to contemplate on how to maintain it. So now, please take a moment and contemplate on this fact.
다딘나네 당보 동아 쪽바 송자요래 동아 쪽세도나 동 뇽마마 동아 나네 강롱지 하장슈 셰춘부 여밤 야나 용조 셰춘부 여바 송요래 다 된데 있나 아니 최낭바 남다 좀 주도 말해 나래서는 가서 자오당 소소 메가와 쇼라 하장기 공도 좀 올라와 다시라에 이제 삼도 쇼춘부 요는 한 내가 망쳐본 데가로 쇼도 그래 안다가 나신도 년당 소소지 년초된 졸라 하장 차바다 현바쇼 좀 보였나 저 팔지를 대강로 쉬어주고 그래 근데 나신도 한 현지 본좀 소바된 졸라 맹가왜 차도 좀 보였나 근데 내라 양내 양초 양도 보좀 가보래 아니 다가나저 서나이나래 데모이나래 얼데는 용만 보통아 보는 쉬어준부 여긴지 강사 나보 강롱암 용조 셰좀부 요나 안전낭다다 주야부 좀 주벨라 버지 좀 휴주여 봐 인도 대양 메건비 네 코든 초도지 자고 유도 된조 소소 줄런도다 민도다 여바이나 되마 숙충도 당답제 매바이나 되는 소소랑 가워검 어디네 제래 네 되네 걸어 교 삼나로나.
Okay. Then within these 8 unfree states, generally there are 5 the unfree states or the negative emotions. When these 5 negative emotions or poisons are filled within us, if we are possessed with those, then we are completely driven by them and we are unable to practice Dharma, of course, but be the proper, good human beings is also very difficult. We are always carried by some kind of activities, such as trying to defeat some people you think as your own animal, and some protecting some people you think that, they are your friends or your families. So we are always occupied by these kind of emotions and these emotions. And generally, if you are carried away by the stinges, then you are completely, occupied by it. If you are carried away by ignorance, of course, then you are completely occupied by it. And as well as jealousy and so forth, all of this. And so now, please take a moment and check for yourself if you are occupied by these negative emotions. And if you are, then, again, like, earlier, think about how can we, protect ourselves from those emotions and the negative, emotions. But if we are not occupied by those, then we have to contemplate on maintaining the good states that we have. So now please take a moment and contemplate on this fact.
라서 tininde jala da nyeba de lumba am mongba songyure lunching mongba ro ani ta chidang mi lu to ba che chö drbe ju ko gap chidang yo ba yin yang ani pem mesa mi lumba sa ro wa chö ji ko wa kono lang mi ne ba ani sangal lang do do kaya mi she ba ani pangja dire lam na yang ko da mi chu langja dire lam na yang ko da mi chu kewa chu dire lam na yang ko da mi chu mekewa chu dire lam na yang ko da mi chu ba da kangsa dene yo na da ko mi lu to ba zam re ma do ba je la chue sha ma je da yang da bon ri be ji ang ko gab je me ba re ti yang ko kan cha do re ni chok jin ne yang ko mi ko me ne rang cha ge yo re chue yang da bon ri be ji ang ko gab me ba re ten re so so la do da mi do da go yo re so so la me na so so kawa kum che zu irang je so so den re yo na ni la thar ya thab je ka re dang go za re 아니 퇴섬 검좀 나서 봐다 아니 리바 펠리아다 롭중 야르제 도이지 탑는 거 아니 가리 연구사도 근데 탑제다에는 매선 제국으로 와 내내 아니 교사 섬로 나오나
Okay, next is stupidity and being ignorant. So if we are stupid and ignorant, then we are unable to understand Dharma. We are completely unable to gain any understanding of Dharma. We are unable to differentiate good and bad. We are unable to know what is to take up and what is to avoid. Even someone tells you this is 10 virtuous actions, you are unable to understand it. Even if someone tells you this is 10 non-virtuous action, you are unable to understand it. So these obstacles, as you know, in practicing genuine dharmas, we are unable to practice or engage in the practice of genuine dharma with these unfree states. So now please take a moment and check for yourself if you have it or no. If you have it, then we have to think ways to how to get rid of it. If you don't have it, then we have to rejoice about it and then maintain our good state. And then to, at the same time, to think about how to cultivate our good states in order to gain more knowledge and become better in studying and practice. Yeah. So please now take a moment and contemplate on this.
so ani de jala en tu ji semba sung yore ne tu se du lobe ke wi shin nin da che ba se yore ani lobe ke wi shin nin se yong du ani sen di na wa khona la yang ju ben da an da ga nang jin do do ja she na te mo la zo ba nyom mo ba sum mam nyom mo ba nga den zo en pel ju gen ji ani ta ke gen ke wi shin nin che ba yin na de la ni du san na men do lobe shin nin se yore den de dang che ba yin na ani che nal ma che da che yang da ba jin ru tu ko ma re ani ta so so ne ne kang la che do che mun da go yore kang dang che ba yin zo na ani sai de na wa da cha dang mo sum du shu chu mo ke gen yi gyur jin cha ge na ta de dang ta ani tes kale kale tes ne ta rung do ndo go yore kang dang che ba yin na ani sai de na wa la zo to nyer me ba ani sai chi me na wa la zo to nyer yo ba ta ga na chen do 동아 도숨도 갈래갈래 총도 조고요 봐 닝제 잠바도 갈래 갈래 야도 얘기요나 대 양다면 개위신년에 대단 최고고 요래 어 된대 용도 민도 최바 당 양다바 좀나 소소는 가와고 소소소소를 제수 이랑제 아니 로비신년 당 최바 되는 중요는 아니 다디 방탑다 데 알레 갈래 달래게네 답제 아니 당고고 요래 되는 도민도 소소 제바 제고도 아니 교
Okay, next is about meeting and a wrong spiritual friend of as a friend which always obstacles you engaging in dharmas, which always leads you to engage in worldly activities, negative and worldly activities. And there's, of course, then negative activities such as giving rise to attachment and aggressions and stupidities, three poison or five poisons, with such a friend, then we are led to kind of live our life in with such negative emotions. So these also, of course, then obstacles us in practicing the proper dharmas. Yeah. And now take a moment and to check for yourself if you have such a friend, if you are led by such a friend. If you are, then you have to think different ways. Think for yourself. How to get rid of such a friend. We have to be able to get rid of such a friend. But on the other hand, if you are not led by such a friend, then we have to rejoice for the fact that we are not led by such a friend, and we are able to practice dharma in a proper way, without any bad influence. So now take a moment and contemplate on this fact.
laso nindi jala ni lelo sikiyure lelo sikiyu zananda ko Ka-Nying mindo bado da ane chama chebo sekando da nge nugu mara tugu mara sekando da rik mindo mambo yungyure tenre wangdo shorwa yina yang ane chwe nalma jindu tugu marwa ko lama yang daba che chwe shwe koga bra ane chwe mambo ane haa ko xie dene cheba yina yang da nyamzo maling ane daga lak tena ane lelo kangla shorwa sekiyure di yang chwe jime kong barang chakdo yure dene kangla soso shordo shormindo nge nyugu mara tugu mara tena yang di yang dan lelo jirwa ane nyugu re tugu re sana Champa de ane popa sana mindo Tsondru re de yure chama shakshana na yang degi yo mara Ka-Nying mindo bachung na yang degi yo mara tenzo lelo wangdo shorna ane chwe nalmadru mindo ba yindu ane di rao lelo sumbo de soso la do da mindo do cheba che takje tang yuwa sonna ane di pangye ye tabshe tang ngay minyu na sui nyugu re yongu re ane Ka-Nying mindo sana ngay maji na sui che gogo re ten ngar yang ngar sa go re lelo wangdo shorne koro la chamde ba re tarung dende jina tungal mudan bima nyong gogo re ta ngay zonda Tsondru mazu na riksa ma re samba do da ane chema sa gande ten kaya me ba re tade gogab di dandarang song gogo re chema yue me sui tong re chasa tanda ngay Tsondru tsamgi nyamba ji tende gogo ro wa tende kola ane kyo uza samlo na ro na
Okay, next is laziness. So the laziness is mainly thinking about, I am not happy to do practice, or I don't want to do practice, or thinking I will do it later, or in another way, thinking, I won't be able to practice. That's not for me. Dharma practice is not for me. If you think in those ways, then you are led by laziness. And even if you have made a perfect qualified teachers and received a great amount of teachings, but if you are led by led by laziness, and then you won't be able to gain realization. Of course, you won't be able to practice and then gain realization. This, not being able to gain realization by laziness is one type of unfree state. So now check for yourself if you have this, unfree, the laziness, which is also a type of unfree state. If you have it, then we have to find ways to remove or get rid of this. But if you don't have it, then we have to rejoice and further carry our good, cultivate our good states. If you have such the mental states, if you are led by such a mental states, then we have to find different means to get rid of it. And then on the other hand, to be diligent, create diligent. And up until now, we have been wandering in samsaric world due to being lazy, not practicing dharmas, the proper path and the teachings. So now we have such a opportunity to practice. So we have to think to ourselves that now I'm not going to, lose this opportunity. I'm not going to waste time. I'm not going to wander in the samsaric world anymore. And but thinking that we have to create the diligence, we have to, exert ourselves in practicing dharmas. So now, contemplate on this fact. Please take a moment and contemplate.
나서 다 내절라 랭에 뭐 온도 쇼르바 랭에 이제 소전 돌와 쓰기 유래 아니 다디 누가 제당 하나 쳐라쇼 담가야 뭐냐 가는 계절된 좀 강랑 가좀 제 아니 쫀드 양 노스 조전에 좀도나 들 야보 지기 유변 넘버 있나 양 샘딩네 레준데다 딘솔 세송시라 메 아니 이제 시라시라 메 이제原来야 남에 간라 쇼좀보 쇼 근데 제나니 가르서 그래 미고 주든도 돌중도 되는 강전데 저런 나온다 아니 다시가 하장 정보 강라 돈에 되는 밀란 내방 뭐 잘도 나온다 내가 셔라 맞을와 이나양 아니 샘지 둘려라 베주셔라 미정 미 정보 대바 제네 대바 나온다 아니 칸네 책주블라서 뭐 시대게 요바 나온다 안다 나진도 아니 칸네 되는 가서 가잘지 계정 뭐 시대게 요바 나온다 아니 류응아지 가르서 그래 최제가 여봐 이나양 이지고는 최날마다다 도미네바 라조바나 다데네 강라 엔침바 이나 아니 랭에 용도 쇼르와스 여바래 데네 이 소소 강라 로고도에 용거연나 때니 당가 메콤베네 강라 차로고도 아니 메콤베네 강라 침바네 최날마다다 차가 여마래 아니 다디여나 유 대빵고도 아니 농아 예숨자 안 최날마가는 루비야 농아 예숨제기 아니 가르서 그래 메게와 주된저 방야 개와 준 루비야 아니 매선제고 그래 다 네강로 쇼르 매바당 소소다다 야보여나 양 무드네 견장와제 제고 그래 마도바 까고블라 양 가서 데네강로 쇼르 쓰기 그래 단다 야보 여바이나 양 제라 뉴르스그와 아니 데네 무드네 요야네 답제 당기 냠바잖아 소소소소로 나로 저네 아니 교sam로 나로 나주기
Okay, next is being accompanied or swayed, controlled by a bad karma. This means generally not having faith in karmic cause and effect. Even though you have, received good dharmas and the pith instructions, you are doing daily recitations and prayers. You have a great amount of diligence. But if you do not have faith in the cause, karmic cause and effect, and your mind is not really convinced by this theory of the causalities, and do not believe in the past and the future life, so forth, and then it is also obstacles us to practice genuine dharmas. We are many times accompanied or led by the kind of more of the coarse attitude and the behaviors, coarse or wrathful behaviors, and we tend to harm others, and then we tend to speak harsh words and gossip about others, so forth. And of course, then we won't have proper and genuine faith in Dharma as well. And now, please think for yourself and check if you have this being the control of the bad karmas, or being swayed by bad karmas. If you have it, then we have to find a means to remove it, get rid of it, and then be our body, speech, mind kind of led by the proper behavior and the practice and the attitude. And we have to, you know, transform ourselves so that we are, being able to do, 10 virtuous acts and give up 10 non-virtuous acts. But if you are not, led by such, state or the bad karmas, then of course we have to, maintain our fortunate, good state, and the mental state. So now, take a moment and contemplate on this fact.
나서 아니다 디젤라 현지 온도 송와 스기래 다 소소 제비지 고갑 나 도난 가야 매봐 현지 되네 가서 오라 왕요도 아니 송와 세고로 와 네, 다 전나 요벌라서 봐 항상 휴정부 쇼 아니 소소지 라왕톤에 최제 고갑 들르섬냐 매봐 되네 중나 아니 양 최야 보는 루도고 요 말에 밀루를 먼저 토바 이나야 아니 거 제야스는 가 매로와 대내 원도 쇼도 쇼르문도 양 소돌로 스타 하나 단다 내가 제바다 총자바다 된소 나 시기 여러분들 되네 말에 된소 내가 제바다 총자바다 아니 소소 취제 고가 여러와 소소 취제라고 여러와 된다라고 때문에 매만데 너다 면도 아니 소소라 도스타 여나 최저라와이나 가와곰 소소소소 제조이란제 대내 원도 쉬는데 라운 튀는 메나 아니 다딜라 타르베 탑도나 메도 아니 탑제당 거고 요래 와 대내라니 교고서 삼는다고나.
Okay, next is being swayed by others or being controlled by others. And this means you are completely subject to the power of some other people. You yourself do not have any freedoms to do whatever you want. And in this case, then of course you are unable to practice proper Dharma because you don't have any freedom. You are completely controlled by others. You are subject to others. You are, servant or slave to others. And so now this actually does not mean that you are having a job or doing business or sort of things. Even if you are having a job or doing business, you still find some time to practice Dharma, right? So here, being swayed, being controlled by others does not mean you're having a job or doing business. It means being completely subject to the power of some other people. So that's what it means here. Now, please take a moment and check for yourself if you are, you know, in such a state. If you are not, then contemplate and rejoice for the fact that you are not controlled or subject to others' power. If you are, then we have to, think of a means to, free ourselves from such state. So please now take a moment and contemplate on this fact.
나서 는 디링데 제 무드네 아니 디네주 삼로다로나 아니 배장무드네 냠도 송이.
Okay, we will stop here for today, and please continue contemplating on these facts. And now to follow me in the recitation of the prayers and dedication.
저희의 롤바 젬베 겔고로 대제 상아 저베 개와 되숨 사베 개조 군돔 라메 장조 냠보롱 와라지 손남데 다이엔 조와 군 치나 상웨 바르제 군지 렘제 람제 저바 다르제 Pema jalbe ngoba nyurundo vishu Sanju la menje la mni la ju Idam gan lu da jebje Chögyon zume barje kunsa Chödu ngoju jube daji ju Oma Madra Guru Bema Zede O Bije De Lejem O Yejene O Zanyu Me Gaye Dame Sonjo Wa Buju Darangona Rajen Ju Bejen Ju Bema Chuni ngon zum jazer de le lo nyam nango bel jal me ganje re ba ze be ba wo da be chun ze lo de do je lo garanju de do me go mo da ye ni je de Chenjana Bemon Kusum Gondun Jime Dode Kandul Ju Bezenjo Jelazo Zendango Yenamro Dale Benjo Juda Jembe Duzandr Tajenga Nyam Yeje Jazo Sende be ma dando ende varajo de are zen namje zen lam la de nengo yeje jazu Suje la mengo ba nyurudu Rajen de nye lunje jo barajo de meje ta ireme be manju Rananda be sando bareje Nare yereme manju nyume Nene nam da jendo je warajo Gangdo je be je wa dam je do re yun Tünden do baraj Yema dağdo çedan cedürüne Zulcen cübe ravan yöbara Çödon neni Ningbo döndüm de Sedre sebe cazon galvara jum Seban dambe çaram dencen Şemben cöbla cöngal me baraj Labjen jendün çöre me bay Tamje jamje sanje do baraju lazo tojeje tamje kozo do janaro na ane tunda chemba jayong.
Thank you, everyone. Please take care. I see you next week.